Hey everybody, welcome back to the farm. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been following for any length of time, you know that I got some Percheron draft horses. This is Jean and this is Grace. These are my 2.5-year-olds. I picked them up when they were 5 months old from my buddy in South Dakota. They have grown a lot. I've had them 2 years now, so we are ready to start their training and get them going and get them driving. They have gained a lot of weight and a lot of size in the 2 years that they've been here. So again, that's Jean and this is Grace. Super sweet girls, just like puppy dogs, just follow you wherever you go. If you remember, back in December, I picked up this girl. This is Jules. She's 16-year-old and she's an ex-Amish horse and she is well trained. I was going to use her to train the girls how to drive. But once I got her and started driving her, I realized that her collar wasn't big enough and her hames wasn't big enough. So as many of you know, I went to Ohio last week and I picked up Becky, which I'm about to introduce you to her. But while I was there, when I was up there, I was able to pick up this used collar. I bought a new sweat pad for it and I brought it home and cleaned it and oiled it. It's old, but it's still serviceable. And I had to get a new set of hames for it because the hames that I had were too small to fit that collar. So now I will remove that set of hames off of this harness and install the new hames, and then we will be able to drive her comfortably. So now I've got everything. I had Becky's collar when I got there. I got her collar, I got her hames, and now we're ready to start driving them. And this is Becky here. She just turned 14 in April. And she is a super sweet girl. You guys saw her working in the last video, and she is going to be Jules' teammate. And I am going to start driving them in the next day or so. I just wanted her to get acclimated, and she is settling in nicely. We had issues coming here. I couldn't show you harnessing her and getting her ready to hook up with the 4-hitch just because of the Amish guys were too close. And then when I was loading her in the evening, like I said, I had to go up this really steep hill, and I was really concerned not having 4-wheel drive, and I was scared that I was going to start spinning. So I left her in the barn and I drove up to the top of the hill, but I really got after it going up the hill and was kind of spinning and kind of getting kind of crazy, and I didn't want her in the trailer. But when we got up to the top of the hill crested, and so what happened is it made the 9-inch step going into the trailer a 20-inch step. She was a little bit skeptical about stepping up there, but she didn't have a problem. She went on up there. Little nervous coming back because she was by herself and she's not used to being by herself. I drove at night, as many of you know, because I didn't want the August sun baking on her if I got hung up in traffic in one of the major metropolitan cities. So we drove at night, and when the first fuel stop, I checked her and she was hot. She was sweating and panting, and it was 86 degrees, but we were going 65 miles an hour. So she should have been somewhat comfortable, but she was just nervous. So I started running on straight adrenaline at that moment, and I just wanted to get her home. So I drove all through the night. We got here at 5 in the morning, and little did I know she was in heat coming down here. And when we got here, the babies wanted to get to her really bad. And she started discharging and putting her scent out, and it just it was crazy. I put her in a different paddock She was running up and down the fence. The babies were running up and down the fence, the 2.5-year-olds that I still call the babies. Jules didn't care. She was just chill and laid back. But she ran into she went and tested the fence, found out it was electric, and she was soaking wet with sweat, so she got a good zap and realized she didn't want to test that anymore. So I went ahead and let her in after a day, let her in with the babies, and they had a little bit of pecking order. They had to get established. Once they got that pecking order established, they were fine after that, and now they're best friends, and they go everywhere. She knows her stall now. I've left her halter on her for the last 48 hours just because if she started to kind of run off or something, I wanted something to grab. But when I brought him over here to the barn, Jules knows where her stall is. The babies know where their stalls are. And Becky just, she was out in the run-in, out in the pasture. And when she came to the gate and was waiting, but then a horsefly got on her and landed right here between her hips, and her tail is docked so friggin' short that she cannot get them, unfortunately. And so I'll be letting that grow out as much as I can. I mean, it's docked, but the hair is still going to grow. So I'm not going to keep cutting the hair. I'll let it grow like I'm letting Jules grow. But when I let the gate open, I opened up the alleyway. They ran, the babies ran across and went right to their stall. Jules went to her stall, and I called Becky, and she came running. And when she got right up to me, I told her, easy, easy, and she slowed down, and she walked across and walked right into her stall. And all the other stalls were open, and she walked right into her stall and went right to her bucket. So she knows her home now. She's getting used to it, and she's getting really well blended in. So I don't think that driving her and Jules together is going to be an issue at all. Just going to swap that Hames over, and we'll be ready to go. The last 5 days here has been 98, 99 degrees, that kind of stuff, with 75% humidity and heat index 105. So it's just been brutal. So I just haven't been wanting to do anything with them at all. This week coming up, starting tomorrow, we're going to be high in the 80s, lows in the 60s at night. We've been lows in like 78, so it's just been brutal. So it's going to be nice to be down into the 60s and then high in the 80s. We got a rainstorm coming in now, so it's dropping the temperature down dramatically. So I'm just looking forward to some cooler weather this week and be able to get these girls harnessed up together and drive them behind the Pioneer 4-cart. Let these girls out and let them get back over there into the pasture before the rain gets here. Whoop, whoop. Back. Whoop. They're going to go into the stalls and pick up any remnants, because if I leave the doors open, they know that the girls drop their oats on the floor. They want to get in there, and that's okay. I don't mind. Becky and Jules out here eating in the barnyard. They like this grass out here in the barnyard. I've been mowing paddock 1 this afternoon, and I'll finish it up tomorrow, and I'll put them out on paddock 1. That paddock's been resting for about 2 weeks now, so it's got some good, nice green growth on it. See, those horseflies are already on Becky. She doesn't like them. Well, Becky was running because that horsefly was on her, and Grace didn't know why she was running. So Grace started running. She literally put her head down and ran right into the tripod and just rammed it down and broke the tripod mount. Oh well. They're all back on the pasture for the night. Becky's leading the way. And the rain's coming. We need it bad. So that's the update on all of the girls. Dr. Zoe will be here at 9:30 in the morning to give Becky her annual vaccines. She is behind. The Amish guy told me that he had not given her her vaccines this year, so she is a year behind. So we'll go ahead and get her fully vaccinated and get her up to date. She's already had a vet inspection, so not expecting anything on that, but that's included in the annual vaccines. So later this week, we'll get them hooked up and get them driving. That'll be the next thing you'll see. So appreciate you guys watching. And as always, remember who you are. Be kind to those around you. Stand up for what you believe in.